You can start, Timsusila.
Okay. Respected Chairman, to the Speaker, Principal, Vice Principal, and Dean, and to all the participants here, a very warm welcome to each one of you present here. I am Asan Jamir, Department of Economics, and will be the moderator for today's webinar. Well, the Union Cabinet had approved the National Education Policy 2020, which had paved way for transformational reforms in school and higher education. Therefore, Immanuel College is organizing a webinar on the ongoing burning topic National Education Policy 2020 and Education for Values at Glance, which is exclusively for the teaching and non-teaching faculties of Immanuel College. Now, I would like to give time to our principal sir for a welcome and keynote address. Sir, you may take your time. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good. Yeah, it is. Hello. Thank you, Miss Asan. And actually, the 18th September 2020 and then 11 a.m. is a very God-given time, blessing to all the members of Immanuel College, starting from the management, the college authority, teaching, non-teaching staff, and students. Because today we are having a webinar that will be a very important for all of us to be discussed, to be aware of, because this webinar, it is on the topic that is brought about to be implemented after 34 years. And the topic for today's webinar is National Education Policy 2020 and Education for Values at a Glance. At the very outset, I would like to welcome the speaker for today's webinar, Dr. YOLILA SANGTAM, Assistant Professor, Department of Teacher Education, Nagaland University. Also, I would like to welcome Dr. A. Losusalai, the Chairman of Immanuel College, and Madam Managing Director. And also would like to extend my warm welcome to the esteemed faculty members of Immanuel College and also the non-teaching staff of this college. And also would like to welcome the students who are participating today's webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, I extend a warm welcome on behalf of the Immanuel College family and on behalf of myself to all of you. As I said at the very beginning of my welcome address, that this particular topic, it has been brought about after 34 years on 28 July 2020 that the Union Cabinet of India approved the National Education Policy 2020, paving the way for transformational reforms in education sector in the country. The reformation is primarily around three major dimensions, namely vision of the society, social purpose, and the purpose of education. In a way, This National Education Policy NEP 2020 might be worth to viewed in comparison to the existing education policy, and many of us we are well aware of that the existing education policy, it is uh, known as the infamous National Policy on Education NPE, and it was implemented in the year 1996. So it is a long way to bring another policy on education by the name National Education Policy NEP 2020. So sometimes we used to confuse about NPE, that is National Policy on Education, which was implemented since 1996, an existing system, and now the new policy, it's given NEP, that is National Education Policy 2020. So something, no, we need to know what actually is the differences, what actually is the advantages over the 1996 NPE by the new NEP 2020 is something very worth to ponder, to have something vividly. There are some changes. The changes, as I said, it is primarily in the dimension of vision of society, social purpose, and purpose of education. In 1990s, world economies were largely local and some were in the transient phase. Comparatively, the world economies today are operating at complex global entities. In view of the same, 1986 National Policy on Education focused on standardization and equal opportunity to all, but NEP, National Education Policy 2020, focuses on augmenting individual capacity and achieving excellence in the field of the choices of the students by providing customizable options for education while hoping to reduce regulation via provision of more internal autonomy to institutions. So this NEP 2020 is something that given to the institutions for more internal autonomy so that individual students are customized to be self-esteem and then to be skilled on different vocational courses so that once they complete a course will be able to stand on their own feet. And then the second point of the advantages is with respect to social purpose. The National Education National Policy on Education 1996 was geared towards providing standard educational opportunities to various social groups. Therefore, its primary purpose was largely centered on inclusion of disadvantaged groups. While NEP 2020 retains the focus on social inclusivity, it also hopes for the creation of special education zones in the areas having a significant proportion of disadvantaged groups. Additionally, NEP 2020 focuses on economic value arising out of educational learning and training. National Education Policy 2020 has a significant focus on skill-based learning and employability. This is something that we have to be very seriously noted down as we are the provider of education. That this National Education Policy 2020 focused focuses on skill-based learning and employability. This is evident from increased focus on providing technical skills at various levels of those seeking secondary and post-secondary education. Thirdly, the differences between these NEP and NPE lies in their understanding of the aims of education. The earlier policy stressed more about understanding the world and human life. Accordingly, NPE, that is National Policy on Education, 1986, the aim of education is threefold, namely the overall development of the human resource, international cooperation, and peaceful coexistence, development of socialism, secularism, and democracy. The present policy focuses more on national development by creating citizens with knowledge. That is also indigenous. Mainly they focus on indigenous knowledge, skills, and individual development. Specifically, the aim of education is defined by National Education Policy 2020 is to achieve full human potential, development of a just and equitable society, and promoting national development. The curriculum in the new policy is more inclined to allow for critical thinking, discussion, and analytical learning, which aims to enrich India's talent and the human resource pool. The National Education Policy 2020 will give a trust on early childhood care and education. It is called as ECCE. It is mainly because we have to be very careful about the children when they are still young, because most of the brains develops prior to the age of 6 years. So this early childhood care education, ECCE, is becoming a very, very important stage of human life to develop a full matured citizen. That's why this National Education Policy 2020 has to be given a trust on early childhood care and education. And this National Education Policy 2020 will replace the existing 10+2. We usually call 10+2. And also it is set 10+2+3 structure. That is now, currently we are in practice in educational system. And it will be replaced by a 5+3+3+4 curricular structure corresponding to the ages 3 to 8, 8 to 11, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18, respectively. The 5+3+3+4 structure will comprise 12 years of school and 3 years of Anganwadi or preschool. National Education Policy 2020 provides multiple exit points instead of dropout. That is also another advantage. 5+3+3+4. Let me just give little highlight on this. What is actually 5+3+3+4? To 5 years. So from the year 4, a child will be given nursery class, then after that junior KG, after the senior KG at 6 years, and then 7 years standard 1 and 8 years standard 2. So here altogether 5 years will be taken in this particular structure 5. So it is called as foundational. This is called as foundational stage or foundational course. So foundational course will be for 5 years, That is, at the age of 4, a child will be admitted into, to nursery class. Then after that, at the age of 5, KG, junior KG, age of 6, senior KG, and then age of 7, that class 1, and at the age of 8, class 2. Then after that, 3 years for preparatory courses. That is, at the age of 9 years, a child will be at standard 3. At the age of 10 years, the child will be at standard 4, and at the age of 11 years, the child will be at standard 5. So this, from 9 years to 11 years, it is given a level called as preparatory course. Then after that, another 3 years of middle course that is starting from 12 years. That is, at 12 year, the student, the child will be at 6th class. 13 year, the child will be at 7, and 14, the child will be at 8th class. And then 4th year, that is the year of secondary course. So at the age of 15 year, a child will be at 9th standard. At the age of 16 year, the child will be at 10th standard. At the age of 17 year, the child will be at 11th standard. And at the age of 18 years, the child will be at 12th standard. So this is what we usually confuse about what is 5 plus 3 plus 4 structure. And then after that, there will be either 4 years of college degree or maybe 3 years of college degree accordingly. There will be no board exam at the 10th class, but 12th, there will be a board exam. So the degree also, as I said, that there will be multiple exit points. So degree, it is said that it will be for 4 years, but the first year when someone wanted to leave, then there will be a certificate given to the student. And then at the end of second year, if the student is leaving, then they will be given a diploma. And at the end of 3 years, then if the student wanted to leave, then will be given graduation. But at the end of 4 year, the student will be given graduation with research for higher studies. So such students might be allowed to go for 1 year postgraduate course. So this is what the new curricular structure in this National Education Policy 2020. The policy has also emphasized some of the things that I wanted to just share with you, taking the advantage of today's webinar, is something that basic, and then the details of higher education, the policies about higher education, the policies about the teacher education that our very experienced resource person will speak. But I would like to just focus on some of the basics that we need to know. So this National Education Policy 2020 emphasized on mother tongue or regional language. This is also something that I just wanted to touch a little bit about. So the policy has emphasized mother tongue or regional language as the medium of instruction, at least till grade 5, but preferably till grade 8 or beyond. And Sanskrit also to be offered at all levels of the school and higher education as an option for students, including in the 3 language formula. Other classical languages and literatures of India also to be available as option. No language will be imposed on any student. Several foreign languages will also be offered at the secondary level. Indian Sign Language, ISL, will be standardized across the country. This is a very significant move of National Education Policy 2020 about the implementation of the medium of instruction up to grade 5 in the mother tongue or regional language. Why? Because if we look into the present scenario about the languages in the world, I should say, in the world, one language is dying in every 2 weeks. One linguist, one mother tongue, or maybe one dialect of a particular tribe or community is dying in every 2 weeks. That is the world scenario. And in India, 400 languages are at risk of dying by 2050. 2050, in India, around 400 languages are at risk of dying. And for your kind information, one of the northeastern states has the richest linguistic diversity, and that state is Arunachal Pradesh. Even in this Arunachal Pradesh, there are around 90 languages speaking by the people of the state of Arunachal Pradesh. And out of these 90 languages, around 33 languages are endangered. 33 languages. And 4 languages are at the verge of die. So this is something to conserve the local language, maybe the mother tongue, so-called, we used to call it mother tongue. But there may be some hiccups, there may be some problems. Why? Because there may be the problems of availability of the study materials written in the mother tongue. But at least using mother tongue as the medium of instruction might at least promote the students to use their own mother tongue so that the mother tongue is conserved. So this is something that I would like to say about National Education Policy 2020, something that we as a layman or maybe we as a teachers should know. And given this background of this National Education Policy, the Immanuel College is organizing a webinar, as I said, on the title National Education Policy 2020 and Education for Values at a Glance. This session will focus on simplifying the components of National Education Policy and understand its implications on higher education, value education, and teacher education. And today, we are very fortunate and we are very lucky, and I should be very thankful to her for her gracefully accepting my request to be the speaker of today's webinar. So about the speaker, Dr. T. YOLILA SANGTAM, as I said, is an assistant professor at Nagaland University, Department of Teacher Education, Kohima Campus, Meriema, Nagaland. And she was working for more than 5 years as the principal of Unity College of Teacher Education, Dimapur. She is very much experienced and qualified. She has double MA, PhD, NET, MET, and then her areas of specialization are educational administration and management and educational leadership, teacher education, inclusive education, teaching of social science and English, ICT in education. She is also an awardee of NCERT Fellow and was awarded the Best Paper Award at International Conference on Quality Changes through Research Experiences. Expectations and Enhancement in 2014 March. She has published articles in various books and journals and has presented papers at both national and international conferences and seminars. So I'm very much thankful and grateful to Madam YOLILA for being the speaker of today's program, and with her vast knowledge in this teacher education, our faculty members, teachers, the students, and the management and the authority will be benefited a lot. And I feel that we all should take participation in this particular webinar with utmost sincerity, attentively, so that we can disseminate whatever we learn today from our speaker to the students. And the students should also be aware of what is actually National Education Policy 2020. With this, I once again express my warm welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you. God bless. Have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Sir, for the warm welcome address and for addressing the keynote. Before I hand over the time to the speaker, I would like to inform all the participants that at the end of the session, if you have any queries or doubts, you can leave the question in the comment section, and at the end, she can clarify your doubts. Now, I give time to our speaker, Dr. T. Yolila Sanktama. You may take your time, please.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Hello. Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
yes.
Good morning, madam.
Yes. Okay, first let me set up my presentation. Okay. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, miss.
Yes, yes,
Good
very
morning,
clear.
everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Uh, yes. Thank you, Sir Sharat Sinha. Sir Sharat, Principal of Immanuel College, and also the Chairman and Managing Board for giving me this platform. Let us try to learn something that hope that it will be benefit for every one of us. And before having such introduction, let us straight away to the presentation. Can you able to view the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Let me start. Let me start today's webinar by giving a small quotation given by a French philosopher. Rousseau has said, "Back to nature or follow nature." Because according to him, a good education can be had only by a direct contact with the nature. So today, a time has come to say, for us to say a basic, back to basic values, because education is the only agent of inculcating such values. And yes, the today's topic will be National Education Policy 2020 and Education for Values at Glance. So, before we proceed, before we go to the National Education Policy 2020, first let us try to understand the meaning or the definition or what values are. Here, in today's world, we talk so much about values. We talk about basic value-based society, value-based education, and we talk so much about value-based politics. So when everybody is talking about values, we should understand the meaning, what values are. Here, what do you mean by the term value? Or another name of the term value is the cost. Everybody knows about it. So here, if somebody asks me what is the value of this pen, then I would say it's around 10 to 20 rupees. So we give the term value of this pen in terms of money. And somebody asked me what is the value of this building. I would say that there are some engineers and architects. who assess the value and say that this many lakhs of rupees. So whether we are mentioning about the participant, the building, the chairs, the tables, the mobiles, or whatever that the materials we give in the terms of money only. So we assess of value of everything in terms of money. So suppose if your neighbor or your friends purchases a car, and the first question that you ask, or that the first questions that we ask is how much did you pay for it? So somebody, if somebody purchases anything, or if somebody purchases can be anything that we give the value in terms of money. And on the other hand, if you happen to meet your friends or your relatives or whoever, meeting for after a long years of gap and coming with his own son and daughter, then you will not ask how much did you pay for your son and daughter, right? That that is not the way that we ask. So the value of human life and the value of the materials are totally different. So we should try to analyze what do you mean by the human values. So it is not a question that we ask to your friends, how much did you pay for your sons and daughters? Here, when it comes to human values, we accept the value of life of a person or an individual or human being. Since you don't assess the value of human being in terms of money, they are called human values. So let us quickly try to understand what you define the values, or how do you assess the human values. A value can be defined as a set of desirable behavior by the following, which is good for the individual and also for the society. So value is not only good for individual, but also it is also very important for the societies. So what we see, what we demonstrate, therefore the message is loud and clear that values are demonstrated. So if we only talks about values and do not manifest or do not practice in our day-to-day life, then they are no values. So if you don't practice what you say, we have no values on it. So demonstrated. So let me give you an example of a father and a son. So once the father tells his son not to smoke or not to drink, but the father smokes, but the father drinks, there is a clear picture of values in it, whether it is a good values or whether it is a bad values. So one day the child will definitely drinks or he will smoke, because at first the child sees what the father does, whether smoke or whether drinks. The ultimately the values are what we do and not what we say. The children will not follow what we say, but we parents, we teacher has to practice over it. Then only it will be a successful individuals, and also indirectly or directly that will benefit to the society. And what is learned at 2 to 3 years that will last to 100 years. In the national education policy, they are so much concerned about the early childhood care, that the what is learned at 2 to 3 years, that will last for 100 of years. Here I wanted to give you small examples, like once an educationist met an expert and she was asking to him, when should I start giving to my daughter or giving to my child the best education. And the educationist asked to that lady, what is the age of your child? She say that it's 3 years. Then the educationist says that you have already wasted 3 years of your child's education. So the remaining one, go home and start immediately. That's what given by the expert. So what is learned at 2 to 3 years, or the tiny dots, like the newly born, they started, though they don't speak, though they don't behave, they don't act, everything is recorded of years. So what is learned at 2 to 3 years is very important. As being a teacher, being parents, or can be elders or brothers or sisters, can be anybody. So we seems to think that education is just acquiring the skill of reading and writing alone. But if we ponder over the way in which a child learns its mother tongue, we get something, the knowledge of the mechanism of learning. Suppose if you speak Hindi, or if you speak Ao, or if you speak Lota language at home, the children will definitely follow the same thing. They will not speak different. So what we learn, what we teach them, or what we demonstrate them, or what we say at home, that will last to the thousands of years, not 100 of years, sorry. So the child learns everything by imitation, not by saying, but by imitation. It hears the voice of the parents and brothers and sisters and slowly repeat the sounds and start speaking the language. So the child imitates not just the spoken words of the parents, but it imitates every form of behavior and action of its parents, teachers, and elders. And here, yes, we should aware of the importance of the elders in the molding of the child's at home. The child's first school is at home. So train up a child in the way he should go, and he is not, when he is old, he will not depart from it, says the Bible. So we, the parents or teachers or elders, should know the way every child should grow. And today's, because of the lack of the values, the society is marked by the contradiction between ideals and realities. And I'm not going to explain everything, but I have given up a point. So can you please all go through this? We talk so much about self-reliance, but people are becoming more independent. So talking of so much of honesty, but many are dishonest. Talking of love, but generating more hatred. We talk so much about hard work, but becoming more lazier. And unity, but more divided. Integrity, but disintegrated further. We talk so much about peace, but creating violence. We heard so much about violence every day. And we talk of economic, but becoming poorer. Improvement, but it's sinking deeper. So we talk so much advancement, but getting more behind. We may advance in some other fashions or anything else, but the real thing, the real life, that we are getting behind. And we talk so much about our culture. We have to give importance to our culture. We talk about the marriage, the challenges, everything we talk about culture, but we are forgetting our own language. Here, the last point I wanted to highlight is in the education system also, we talk so much about our mother tongue. But here, when we go through, when we yes, you all must be having the same experience that I have experienced. Many of our people, they don't want to speak our own language. They feel rejected when we speak our own language. But the reality is we should not forget our own language. The children has to teach our own language. If we speak out, we should teach them out at the initial stage. And if we speak Lotha or Sema or Ankami, whatever the language, or we belong to our culture, that has to be inculcated before they go to school. But once if they go to school, definitely they will speak English. Automatically, the English will come over. So try to develop your language. Then only the main realities or this contradiction will vanish, and the value has to be inculcated from home itself. Okay, the present state of affairs is marked with aimless. When we see the youths or the teenage or yes, the students, some are aimlessness, confusion, and poor quality and frustration. We heard so much about suicide, we so much about the many things. So there is an element of human weakness to do what a man hates, to avoid doing what he knows as to do good. People knowingly this is not good, but they do that. People knows that this is good, but they don't do that. This is what the society is at present. And value education should enable a man to encounter these weaknesses of life and also should produce citizens to live with a character, habit. And then only if a child or if you and I or if a teachers or whoever or the elders should have a good character or good habit, good behavior, then only the society would reflect well the image of the people automatically. So by doing so, education of the people shall grow healthy. And yes, we should have developed by providing right types of experiences at the right time at home, at school, and the colleges. And to know, yes, to seek knowledge and wisdom towards good family and society and live by them. Hence, it is important to pay a due attention to the inculcation of right values in the pupil at all levels of education. Here, now let us, before we discuss about NEP 2020, let us highlight about the values that that is inculcated in very in all the policies or commissions and committees or recommendations. So almost every education policy document has emphasized the role of education in fostering values, because this values is very important, and this value gives importance from the childhood, from the nursery level or from the initial or preparatory level till the higher education. This values education that has inculcated even in National Education Policy 2020. So Education Policy 1966, and then 1983, 1985, and Education Policy, National Education Policy 1986. All these policies have given importance to values. So let us just highlight about the values that reference to the search of excellence and to cultivate the values. Next is National Curriculum for Primary and Secondary Education, um, for the effort towards the value development. And National Education Policy 1986 also, it's highlighted the need of education for values in removing intolerance, violence, superstition, and upholding social cultural principles to make India a secular, democratic, and progressive nation taking pride of its cultural heritage. So a national curriculum framework for school education has also brought to focus the erosion of ethical, social, and spiritual values and suggested the integration of values in the curriculum. And National Curriculum Framework 2005 strongly advocates values like cooperation, respect for human rights, tolerance, justice, responsibility, citizen, diversity, reverence towards democratic and peaceful conflict resolution. All these comes through only the values or value education. So let us have a quick National Education Policy 2020 at a glance. Yes, sir has already clearly highlighted about the school education. But let us discuss something about higher education or like teacher education related thing, because national education policy, when we discuss, there are so many chapters, and just one chapter itself, it will take a few hours to complete discussion. But let us take a few minutes to just to understand ourselves more. uh, I know many of you have gone through, many of you have attended many webinars, or many of you have gone through the NEP 2020, but just at a glance, let us try to learn, update ourselves again. That's what I mean to say. And yeah, it's been 34 years, as we all know that they have a major reforms in education system. And after 6 years of deliberation, the NEP has came to the picture, and that is for every student from the tiny thought going to her first play school to an ambitious master graduate and considering the PhD program. So here again, I'm going to highlight about the values that has given in National Education Policy 2020. So as per the fundamental principles of this policy, one of the salient features of common for school and higher education. Here it's given the school also and higher education also. School and higher education is ethic, human values, and constitutional values like empathy, respect for others, cleanliness, courtesy, democratic spirit, service, spirit of service, respect for public property, scientific temper, liberty, responsibility, pluralism, equality, and justice. So we are not going to explain in details about the points, but I hope you will analyze or you will study more on it. So let us come to the major reforms in higher education. As Sir also highlighted clearly about the multiple entry and exit point with appropriate certification. So undergraduate education can be of 3 or 4 years with multiple entry and exit option with appropriate certification with this period. Suppose a student because of financial problem, he or she cannot go to a second year BA or second year of BSc or BCom, then he can drop for a year, or because of some health issue or financial issue, or because of whatever the reasons, that if he or she has attended the first year of BA or BEd or bachelor degrees, then he will be getting a certificate of 1 year, and advanced diploma after 2 years. This also, yeah, the second year degree will be diploma, and the third will be the degree, the yes, bachelor degrees after 3 years and bachelor with research after 4 years. This is what the NEP, the 2020, the major reforms in higher education has given. Yes, these days we go for just a bachelor degree of 3 years, and if he or she drops in the first year of BEd, that is already dropped, second year also you will not get degree, but only after getting through the third year, only the bachelor degrees that we usually get. But here the policy has bring up a multiple entry and exit point with appropriate certification. As per his certification, as per his or her certification, he will seek the job and he will get the opportunity accordingly. This is what the higher education, yes, the major reforms have given. The next is national mission for mentoring will be established with a large pool of outstanding of senior or retired faculty. So if the senior faculty or if the retired faculty, if they are excellently good, then they can be yes used as yes used as a mentoring for the benefit of the institution. That's what I can say. And the next is the HEGI. We call it as HEGI, HECI, Higher Education Commission of India, will set up a single overarching umbrella body for the entire higher education, excluding medical and legal education. Excluding medical and legal education. So now UGC, University Grant Commission, is only a history now uh, as per the new policy. So there will be four different independent bodies. The one will be National Higher Education for uh, Regulatory Council for Regulations, and second is General Education Council for GEC for standard settings, Higher Education Grant Council, that is for funding, and National Accreditation Council, NAC, for accreditation. These are the, yes, there are so many major reforms, but these are the most major reforms, I should say, in higher education. And for colleges, yes, there will be a common entrance exam for all the colleges, and that will be held by National Testing Agency, as how the national eligibility tests, JEEs, all the tests that have taken place. Yes, the National Testing Agency, this will be taken care for the common entrance exam for all the colleges. Now, for example, for B.Ed, all Nagaland B.Ed entrance examination, that the entrance examination is conducting by the Nagaland University, by Department of Teacher Education. So we are conducting, and the B.Ed entrance is going to be held on 21st to 28th of this month. That is just coming week. So we have already set ready for the common entrance exams. And this year we are not going to give for the written test, but we are going to conduct examination through only online interview. So 50% of the marks will be from their own academic records, and 50% marks will be through the interview. That is what we have formulated by the body. So same thing. These days we just take randomly, or we just take by having a small interview by the college itself, and we take the student for admission. But in days to come, the National Testing Agency, this will be taken care, and that when to enforce that things will come in the later days. So for your bachelor degrees, or 4-year multidisciplinary bachelor program to be given credit with option to complete degree after a break. Suppose like if a student wants to take a bachelor degree in social science after a break, yes, there will be an academic bank of credit, ABC. So in that ABC, after a year of break, later on, after 2 years or 3 years of gap, he or she can take up the bachelor degree in social science. some any other things are going to be happen, not only in the bachelor degrees in the colleges, but also in teacher education also. And the next is going global. The top-rated global universities will be affiliated to come to India, and then Indian institution to be encouraged to go global. So if the institution is very good enough, then even the abroad, the world, the outside will also bring their campus, or in India also, suppose like Immanuel College, if you have more than 3,000 plus students, and or even the cluster can be done. So cluster can be done, and after that, if the NAC has been approved to go for international, or if the NAC has given you a good assessment, then you can also, the college can also can open up the campus in outside abroad, apart from India. So the going global, top rated global university to be facilitated to come to India, and top Indian institution to go to encourage to go to the global. This is the policies that they have made. I don't know how far it will be implemented, but as per the policies, and no affiliation, no affiliation these days. College has to be get affiliation from the university in Nagaland. All the colleges, including the teacher education colleges, get affiliation from the university. Every year renewal of affiliation. But over the next 15 years, the colleges will not be affiliated and will be given credit autonomy to the degrees, and the affiliation with university will be end. So, like in Nagaland, we call it as autonomous college or university, as we know that Patkai College. But in the marksheet they are giving Nagaland University. But once if this fully implemented by 2040, even the degree will be given by the institution itself. That's what given by the policymakers. And higher education and plan of action. So increase of gross educational ratio in higher education. This is also the one important point, that it aims to reach at least 50% by 2025. As of now, they have given, as per 2018, it's only 26%. 26.3% are in the higher education. But as per the policy, they have to reach at least 50%. The student has to get higher education. Yes, enrollment ratio, gross enrollment ratio has to be 50% by 2035 is the plan. And holistic multidisciplinary education, that multidisciplinary holistic education at undergraduate level in all the fields. And the plan of action is then gradually increase the student strength by 2030. By 2030, they will implement to become multidisciplinary, and they will try to increase the students. Sorry. And by 2040, all higher education aims to become multidisciplinary colleges or education. So restructuring of undergraduate and PG degrees. Undergraduate degree to be either 3 or 4 years with certifications after each year, that we have already discussed in the first or second slides. So I don't need to go again. And teacher education in National Education Policy in chapter 15, it's written about teacher education. And a new comprehensive national curriculum framework for teacher education to be formulated. Not only national, but international curriculum framework the undergraduate, also in the teacher education. Teacher education also comes under higher education. So national curriculum framework for teacher education. By 2021 or 22, they are going to bring up the curriculum framework. I have consulted one of the director of NCD, national, yes, the NCD official, I should say. So what they suggested is that by 2021 or 2022, they are going to implement everything. And next is rationalize institution architecture. So yes, I have already highlighted in the first or second slide. It says that higher education institutes cluster or knowledge hub to be set up with each have 3,000 plus students. Here, higher education clusters is the highest recommendation of NEP 2020 because um, there are large number of students from India and then the world abroad has studied in ancient Indian university like Dakshila, Nalanda, etc. with a great success, and it was a multidisciplinary environment. So after seeing the great success of those multidisciplinary education or environment, India urgently need to bring back to create well-rounded and innovative individual. So this is what the policymaker have suggested, and it says that the college need to have 3,000 plus students, then only it will be accredited to go for it. And I don't know, just my view that maybe many institutions, if the institutions are not cluster or not clubbed, then I think many institutions will likely to close down. That's what I feel. And National Research Foundation, NRF, to create a culture of research that permeates through all universities. So this is NRF is for the research funding and to support such research and innovation culture across higher education institution of research labs and other research organization. And other is distance, open and distance learning to be expanded. So the cross enrollment ratio aim for 50%. That is not only the classroom, not only the physical classroom learning, but also the higher education, the policies. They are planning to bring up open and distance learning to be expanded and provided for opportunities for lifelong learning. Then make sure that the institution opt to run ODL, online distance learning, and online program, not online, open distance learning and online program, provided that they are accredited to do so. That has to be taken care by the NAC. And if the NAC approves, then the colleges or the higher education will be implemented, and um, some some students will be benefited, and the higher education ratio will come more than 50%. That is their plan of action. So the norms, standard, and guidelines for systematic development, regulations, and accreditation of ODL will be prepared, and a framework for quality of ODL that will be recommendatory for all higher education institute will be developed. And yes, open distance learning to higher education. Yes, ODL, open and distance learning. And for school education, I'm not touching the school education, but I would like to bring here one example of school education. NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling. That is, as we all know, that is for the school level, but for higher education, for colleges or for universities level, open distance learning has to be implemented or should be developed by the institution. Next is, yes, regarding the teachers, motivated, energized, and capable faculty. It's clearly defined, independent, and transparent process criteria for the faculty recruitment. And faculty to conduct innovative and research-based teaching. At present, we are teaching just, we talk in the classroom and we cover the syllabus and we give away the notes, materials, and students learn and study and they write. But the new plan of national education policy is to conduct research-based education. They focus more on the research, and even the faculty, Just 1 minute, okay. Even the faculty has there are lots of regulations that have been made up, and we should be able to have a critical thinking. We should be able to have innovative, and we should be have a good in the research areas. Then only it will enable us to work truly outstanding and creative work for this higher education or NEP 2020 plan. And suitable probation period shall be put in place to further ensure excellence. And these days, to the faculty or to the teachers, we increase the salary, we paid as per their experience. But in days to come, as per their capability, their recognition, their contribution about the research will be more important. So there shall be a fast track promotion system for recognizing high impact research. Recognition all will based on the research based how he or she has contributed. And faculty will have not just as a teacher, but also as a mentors and guide. Because once if the students are more than 3,000 students in one college, then you are getting autonomous. Definitely all the things, all the department, all the faculties, and you all have to even the giving the degrees that will be initiated from the college itself. This is what the higher education plan that has developed. So even the teachers, if you have not started yet about thinking about the research, your innovative thinking or your creative work, let us try to understand and let us try to um, mentally prepared how to inculcate or how to implement this higher education by now itself. And institutional development plan, this is also another one plan. The most important factors in the success of higher education institute is the quality and engagement of its faculty. So it all depends on the faculty, it all depends on the teacher, whether it will be good institutions or whether it will be a failure. So institution will integrate its academic plan, curriculum improvement of quality in classroom transaction. And as per the new education policy, this institutional development plan, that has to be done by the institution itself. And it's about the academic plans. You will have to have your own innovative, you have to have your plan, your innovative in teaching and pedagogy and peers and student reviews, your quality and impact of research, your professional development. You have to structure your own curriculum, and you have to um, plan everything as per the institution. And your professional development activities, it includes everything. how the university body has doing it right now, the same thing that will imply to the institution once if the NEP 2020 is successfully implemented and successfully um, reached by the students, reached by the institution, sorry. So other form of services to the institution and the community shall be developed by higher education institute and clearly uh, it is, yes, it is clearly given by the institutional development plan. So once if the institution has crossed more than 3,000 student plus, then you have to have an institutional development plan. Then after preparing that plan, it has to be checked by the NAC. And once if the NAC has been approved, the NAC is not the reason NAC, but the higher education NEP 2020 NAC body has to be checked. Then it will be given autonomous to the institution. And multidisciplinary education and research to be set up in or near each district from promoting research in all the fields. So multidisciplinary education at par with IITs, IIMs, etc., like Institute of Technologies or Management. Even they need to have more social science, humanities, and arts has to be implemented. There will be multidisciplinary education and research universities. So will be set up and will aim to attain the highest global standard in quality education. And next is effective governance and leadership in higher education. So credit accreditation and credit autonomy to achieve excellence in 15 years. So the plan which they have prepared is the outcome or achievement will be by 2035. And adult education aim to achieve 100% youth and adult literacy. That is by 2030. Now let us come to teacher education. Being a teacher, we should also know about the B.Ed education or teacher education plan. So Justice J.S. Verma Commission 2012, this is very important, and if you go through, that will not be a loss for you. So 10,000 teacher education institutes in India, and not even attempting serious teacher education. The regulatory effort so far have neither been able to curb the malpractices in the system nor enforce basic standard for quality. So the performance appraisal report started last year. So the NCT, National Council for Teacher Education, has given to all the institutions in India to fill the performance appraisal report. And I should say it's a really vast, and it takes around 3 to 4 days to complete. So each and every institution has to fill this fill this report. So only 700 and around 700 teacher education institute has filled the report. So 2030, only educational sound, multidisciplinary and integrated teacher education program will be in force. So the roadmap or the framework, the model teacher education program institution by 2021. So yes, regarding this multidisciplinary, they have already started with the IDEP integrated course, IDEP, ITEP, Institute of Teacher Education Program. This IDEP, I think many of you have heard about it. So gradually it has been started, and many institutions in the India has already filled up for IDEP, and now around 2,000 applicants they have received as of now. So they are preparing into the last stage, and it will be implemented very soon. And professional standard for teachers, a common guideline to set up for national professional teacher standard setting body for teachers by consulting of NCTE, NCERT, SCT, SCERTs, then the states and union territories. Establishment of national mission for mentoring. So appropriate mechanism shall be designed by NCT by 2020, and the large pool of outstanding or the senior retired faculty for mentoring purposes in Teacher Education Institute. The list will be ready by 2021. So this is not only for the B.Ed colleges or B.Ed institute, but also it applies to all the higher education institute. So there will be a large pool of outstanding senior or retired faculty for mentoring purposes. This will apply not only, I'm telling again, not only to the colleges, but also to all the higher education levels. The next is multidisciplinary universities and colleges will aim to establish education department. So here, as per the policies, it is given that ITEP, um, Institute of Teacher Education program course has to be start by 2021. But in Nagaland we are not yet started. But some states they have already into existence. But yes, this ITEP has to be merged with the degree colleges. Suppose the stand-alone teacher education will be no longer exceed will be no longer, because the stand-alone teacher education will be required to convert it to multidisciplinary institution by 2030, since they will have to offer the 4-year integrated course teacher education yes, teacher preparation program. Suppose Unity College of Teacher Education, they have degree colleges. So this Unity College of Teacher Education can be clubbed with Unity College Degree College as a one department. Then the multidisciplinary will be merged, and B.Ed can be 1 year, 2 year. The college has given 1 year degree, 2 year at diploma, 3-year degree, and 4 for research-based degree. The same thing that will apply to even to the B.Ed colleges. So here, as I said, even for another example I wanted to give is in Dimapur, again, Salt Christian College is there, and then Salt College of Teacher Education. So these two can be merged. But if the college is having its own stand-alone teacher education institution, which cannot be merged with the other degree colleges, will be shut down. This is what the policy has made. So lastly, but not the least, in conclusion, I would like to um, give you one question, that what is the position of a research area? And that you don't need to answer me, but you just try to analyze, or you just try to study yourself, and then be ready and get ready for the change, reform, and transform. So thank you so much. And if you have any queries, then please. From this, I'll end my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, the participants now may ask questions if you have any queries or doubts.
Yes.
Madam, about this NEP 2020,
Okay.
any state has decided to implement
Sorry.
about the implementation,
Okay.
whether any of the states in India has planned out to implement this particular NEP 2020.
Yes, actually, regarding to the mother tongue, even this Tamil Nadu and even yeah, in the southern part of India, they tried, but I don't think it will be successful. So regarding the mother tongue, I mean to say, and regarding the implementation, that cannot go at once. It has to be like different areas, different points, and suppose like merging of institution, or else the cluster into institution for autonomous. That will take a long time to implement. So likewise, the implementation of particular area will be starting very soon. That's what we learned from the authority. Everything that cannot implement at one go. That's what I mean to say.
Okay, thank you. And then uh, the three language formula.
Mm.
Regarding these three language formula, I also wanted to clarify something. How the three language formula will be, implemented in in a school. Say, for example, let us take the example of Nagaland. Uh,
Okay.
so, how we will suppose English can be one of the languages, and then mother tongue. Uh, how it can be introduced the use of mother tongue up to the fifth standard.
Okay. To implement this policy, it is very difficult, and yeah, as per the discussion and as per my understanding, especially in the northeast and special reference to Nagaland, I don't think this will be practically. This will not be okay. That's what I feel.
Yeah, it is good in one way that we will promote,
It is good in one way,
uh,
yes, but
but practical
practically,
some
yes.
practical difficulties are there in some of the northeastern states. In Hindi speaking states too, it's okay because
Yes,
Hindi
definitely.
is there. No, and then
Hindi
but
can be mother tongue, and
yeah,
then the second language can be their own another language, and then the third can be like foreign language or the English as the third language, the three language formula. So I think, sir, especially as I referred to southern part of India,
mm, mm,
suppose like in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, just Andhra Tamil Nadu, they speak about Telugu. Then the second is Hindi and English. That
mm,
the three formula will come. But
mm.
definitely, the first language will be Hindi, and second will be their own language, and um, third will be the English. That will not be. I think practically it's very difficult to implement. Just one speaking language also they cannot copy the Hindi, but here we have a multiple culture and languages, especially in northeast and especially in Nagaland. I don't think this will be practically unless we are forced the students to learn one particular mother tongue.
Thank you, madam. And then, madam, one more thing. Is we talk about the skill-based system of education, rather
Mm.
introducing a vocational course as a compulsory subject up to certain standard of level. So here I
Okay.
uh, did not go in deep. If you have gone through in deep, can you just give little bit of this introducing a vocational course in the new
Mm-hmm.
education policy? Yeah, please,
Okay.
if you. Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, I may or may not refer to the education policy, but what as for the education, yes, it is that earlier we just read on write and get degree and we go for some jobs and all. But now what the policy wants to implement is that we get a degree at the same time if you wanted to take up carpentry, if you wanted to take up any vocational skills like mechanic or like electrician or whatever it is, as per our apart from our degree, if you wanted to switch over or as per the student level of their education qualification, also they can opt for the skills. We, suppose I'm taking a B.Ed integrated course, or yes, integrated course in B.Ed. After that, if I wanted to go for this carpentry education or any education, then I can be take up. So yeah, skill-based education. Even the government institutions now they have started about the vocational or community colleges. All these things has to be merged together with the colleges.
In one occasion, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, has already given a statement that the National Education Policy 2020 will be implemented from 2022 in all the states. What is your opinion about his vision of implementing the NAP 2020 from 2022? How far we the states are prepared for that, madam?
So yes, by any means, National Education Policy 2020 already approved and already known by everybody, and now by any means it has to be implemented.
Mhm.
May not be
Yes.
successful in all the areas,
Mhm.
but it depends on the state and it depends on the education institutions, how we take up, and it depends on the teacher, how we carry over. It will be depend on it, because in different state they have a different view and different
Yes, yes.
speaking. So it depends on we, how far we will be craft to the implementation, or how far we will be able to justify or analyze or put into practice. So what I feel, just my personal view is that it depends on we.
Thank you, madam. Our teachers, if no, I would like to request our teachers or students or anybody, if any query, any clarifications or anything that if you wish to know, let us just share and interact while Madam is there, and then uh, anybody can share something what you know or whatever is there in NAP if you have gone through that also you can bring out in the light of our today's discussion. Otherwise, without any interaction our webinar, the purpose of this webinar may not be fulfilled. So please do interact, say something, inquire something from our speaker. And if no, in the process, if anybody can share, you can also take time to the interaction also. Please, no,
And
our teachers, please, yeah.
before that, I wanted to say something. I wanted to encourage the teachers to go for that online professional courses. This will help you to implement for in days to come directly or indirectly online professional courses. And you should have a continuous professional development. Continuous professional development is very important. We just only teach in the class, and when we go back home we intend to forget everything. But just use your own leisure time, and you try to start by today. I should say there are lots of online courses where you can take up, and that will help you for implementing your teaching, your learning teaching areas in days to come. So this continuous professional development is very important, very important. That's what I can say. So there are lots of policies that have been given in Education Policy 2020. But please try to concentrate what has given for the teachers, especially um, the platform like SOIM and all. It is for higher education, and Diksha is for school education, especially for CPSE or the school education, whoever it comes. The CPSEs are going to implement that platform. But for higher education, the SOIM course is there. If you dive and if you go to the SOIM courses, then you will find many courses or many areas, whichever your areas, subject areas. Then slowly you will explore and you will find it. You will find it for the benefit of the institution as well as for your good deeds in the future to implement this 2020. So any teachers wants to ask?
Asan, do you have any
Yes, sir.
question to be shared? Lah. See,
Yes, sir.
others are not coming up. So,
Uh, excuse me,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Uh,
Come Sian, yeah, okay.
excuse me, miss.
Yes.
Uh, what? Why is MPhil discontinued under this National Education Policy 2020?
The policy maker will know better, but what I feel is MPhil, just from my view, okay, MPhil is also 2 years program, and PhD is also 2 to 3 years program. Of course, we intend to stretch on the time. So after the master's degree, going to straight away to PhD degree is much better. So they think that it is not so relevant. Because of that, it may discontinue. But if somebody wants as an additional degree, I think what I learned from the competent authority that in NEP 2020, MPhil will be discontinued, but it might come into force. They might, but it is not officially, just internally conversation.
Thank you, miss.
Okay, is that clear with you? Okay,
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
okay.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. I would like to ask your viewpoints on the multiple entry and exit. Will the students will the students get the quality education in this multiple entry and exit? What is your point of view on this?
Okay. Uh, can you, hello?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the reason? I mean, you wanted to know.
Yes,
Will it be quality?
yeah, I just wanted to know your viewpoints on the multiple entry and exit.
Okay. One way it is good to have a 1 year degree because these days it may not be that much because when it comes to their appointment in the future, when it comes to go for the job, people will definitely see about 4 years because 1 year, 2 year, 3 and 4 they are different in the numbers, right? They are different in the numbers. So obviously, definitely the quality will be the degree with a research base. And the one who are not able to continue due to the reasons or due to the multiple inconvenient reasons, then they are benefited because as I've already explained that these days the system of undergraduate degree until unless he or she clears the sixth semester, we are not giving the degree away, right?
Yes.
We are after 1 year also getting degree 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but definitely the quality will comes for the 4 year B.Ed. But some are benefited, some are benefited because for example, as I said, the one is um, who is studying who came to yes down, and then the villagers, the one who came from the village studying the down, but he cannot able to continue his second or third year because of financial problem. So he may go back, he may take a break, again come back. The same critic, the same points. The first year, how much he got, that will add it to the second year, third year, and fourth year if he wants to continue. But the quality will comes to the fourth year research based education.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your clarification. If anyone has any queries, I think everyone is clear about the National Education Policy 2020 of today's webinar. So if there are no more queries, now I would like to take this time to propose the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the speaker for availing your time and enriching us with your knowledge. Secondly, I would also like to thank the IQAC team for organizing the webinar. Thirdly, once again, I would also like to thank our principal, sir, for the welcome and keynote address. Lastly, but not least, I would also like to thank all the participants for your participation. Without your presence, this program would not have been a successful one. I hope each one of us here has equipped with better knowledge from this webinar. With this, we have come to an end of today's webinar. Thank you all for joining and have a good day ahead.